Say good afternoon to all of you. It's sort of in a way good to be back here on Jones Street. Since I'm at home, I want to welcome my colleagues back to Raleigh. I just left an event upstairs that shows what happens when you really operate in a bipartisan fashion. We celebrated about 30 years of Denise Weeks' presence here as the clerk. And it just so happened there were two Democratic speakers and two Republican speakers, and all of us had the very same thing to say about Denise and how she really went about doing her job in a way for the benefit of North Carolinians and not in a particular partisan fashion. And I say that because it seems like we just left here. It was just a month ago that we were all here, if you remember. And when we left in December, there was still much left to do on behalf of North Carolinians. We have several issues that need to be addressed this session and much that we'd like to accomplish to start making a positive impact again on people's lives and in strengthening North Carolina. We have a major disaster that needs to be fully addressed. We talked about that a month ago, some of us 3 or 4 months ago. We have families that remain uncertain about their health care. We have state workers and retirees that haven't seen a substantial pay raise in several years. We have toxic legislation that remains on the books and a public education system that is struggling to meet the needs of all of our children. But of course, the biggest task before us as we gather here to begin this session is the budget. We're looking forward to seeing Governor Cooper's budget proposal, which will serve as a blueprint for his plan to protect and support North Carolina's resources. And that includes everything from our parks and waterways to our people and the institutions that serve them. To that point, I want to stress that there is no greater resource to be found in North Carolina than the people who live here. That is who we serve. That is who we strive to protect, and that is why we are back here in Raleigh. As the political adage goes, don't tell me what you value, show me your budget, and I will tell you what you value. If we value our people, then we need to invest in their success. That begins with a renewed investment in our public education system, from teacher and administrators' pay to restoring textbooks, spending levels, so that they achieve what they were set to do, and expanding programs in our public schools. There's no greater return on investment than the investment that we make in our students here in North Carolina. The success of our public schools has to be our first priority. And until our public schools are fully funded and our principals and teachers have every resource they need to help their students succeed, then we cannot afford to divert public tax dollars to private education. We're moving in the wrong direction in public education spending and in student achievement, and it will undoubtedly take time and a sustained investment to make up for the ground that we've lost here. But there are actions that we as a legislative body can take now that can have an immediate impact on the quality of life of the people that we serve. Right now, there is no greater priority for us than to address the remaining unmet needs of those that were impacted by Hurricane Matthew. We left a lot on the table in December, and people have remained in limbo in the month since we first addressed this in a special session. We're looking at continued funding, repairing infrastructure, getting state dollars and grants to get businesses open again, and ensuring that the internal structures that should be in place are in place to respond in future disasters. The federal government has offered assistance, but I have no doubt that with our own rainy day fund at its current level, we can address all other gaps in assistance and help people move forward. We have experience at this, successful experience over the last 15 to 20 years with storms that have occurred in the state. And that's not all that we can do as we get back to work to help people now and move our state forward. With that, I want to now turn it over to my new counterpart in the House, House Minority Leader Darren Jackson. and by the way, my representative. That right? To address some of the other immediate actions that we can take as legislators on behalf of our constituents. So I give you Representative Darren Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me see. It's not going to surprise anybody here. I've got 4 points to make of what I think we can do this session that we can accomplish that'll go a long ways to improving the lives of all North Carolinians, and it starts with the full repeal of House Bill 2. House Bill 2 has cost our economy thousands of jobs, hundreds of millions of dollars, and is continuing to drive businesses away from the state at this time. We know that it will take to fix it, and that's a full repeal of House Bill 2. I believe, and the governor believes, that there's a bipartisan majority of the House and Senate ready to repeal House Bill 2. The only holdup is that leadership won't give us an up or down vote, something they promised in a deal with Governor Cooper back in December. As you know, Charlotte held up its end of the bargain, repealed its ordinance in full in December. Now legislative leaders should do their part, honor their word, and allow for full repeal. It's time for us to send the message that North Carolina is open for business. Second point, our North Carolina teachers deserve a real pay raise. For a long time, we've heard a lot about raising teacher pay, but with no real action. We talk about it in election years and never again. If we're going to teach our students the skills to compete for the best jobs, then they need to treat our educators like the professionals that they are. North Carolina is the 9th largest state in the nation, but currently ranks 41st in teacher pay. That's just not good enough. Too many good teachers are leaving the classroom and state for better pay. We need to take a hard look at state revenue this coming session and pass a plan that will offer a meaningful pay raise and make us competitive with other states. And we need to apply that to all state employees and our retirees as well. Third, we need a tax policy that should help us focus on small businesses and middle-class families. Over the last couple of years, the largest corporations in this state and out of state and the wealthiest individuals have received repeated tax giveaways, while middle-class tax families and small businesses have been forced to pay even more through the expansion of sales taxes. That's just not right. Now North Carolina has one of the lowest tax rates in the Southeast. Instead of continuing to offer new breaks for the wealthy, we need to give hardworking families a tax cut. We can start by looking at the Earned Income Tax Credit. The EITC encouraged people to work and provide for their families. I know it made a big difference for me when I was starting out in this world. We need to stop expanding service and sales taxes to disproportionately affect middle-class families who are already paying more than their fair share. And the fourth thing we could do to really jumpstart this economy is Medicaid expansion. Governor Cooper is using every tool he has to create jobs and boost our economy. Expanding Medicaid would return North Carolina tax dollars back to our state, create tens of thousands of jobs, and increase access all across the state to health care. It's irresponsible to let our tax dollars be spent in other states instead of being used here to grow our jobs here at home. The billions of dollars that would return to our state would provide access to health care for hundreds of thousands of people and would booster our rural health care system. This should not be a partisan issue. Republican governors in other states, including Vice President Pence, expanded Medicaid in their states because it made good financial sense, just like it would in North Carolina. With so much uncertainty at the federal level, expanding Medicaid could put the state in a better position after any changes are made in Congress.